How you doing out there, folks? This is Frankie, the unknown songwriter. I'm sure by now, with the amount of songs that I have been posting, you should know me by now. I have something happen to me really bad, and I'm going to try to tell you about it because since I don't have any family, my kitty cat passed away, and I've been so upset. I'm going to try not to get too emotional. He was 14 and a half years old. I got him when he was a little baby. I picked him from a litter. It was like 5 kittens, and he was like the biggest one, and I picked him. And the lady was a neighbor. I asked her, when were they born? She told me March 17th, 2006. I said, oh, wow. That's a couple months ago. And then she said, yeah. I said, oh, that's St. Patrick's Day. I think I'm going to call him Mr. Lucky because for the luck of the Irish. So that's how I got him over 14 years ago. He's been with me ever since. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I miss him so much. I'm going to try to get through this. The main thing I'm doing this for because I want to remember him. It happened all of a sudden, like I guess 5 months ago. It was his birthday. He was 14 years old, and I did a video. It's online. You can see it. If you look up on YouTube, Mr. Lucky, aka Armando, it'll come up. I did quite a few videos. I wished him a happy birthday and everything, and I said, wow, you're 98 years old in, human life. And it was all right after that. I did a couple more videos, and he didn't seem like there was anything wrong with him. So he only ate dry food his whole life. That dry food and them snacks I was giving him. So I noticed about maybe a week ago he just wasn't eating. He didn't want it anymore. I noticed he seemed to have trouble chewing and swallowing. I just noticed that maybe he had that for a while. It just got worse. He wouldn't eat, and then he started sleeping a lot, and then, it went quick. At first, and I started giving him, I went and got the moist food, and tried to make like a puree, because I knew he was having trouble swallowing. Seemed to get it down. Like I would get up and get a routine with him. I would go clean the cat boxes, take out the trash, go get the mail. I would feed him. When I come back, he was eating, still eating. But then I noticed the day that he passed, that day I did the same routine, but he just couldn't eat. He tried so hard, He didn't, during this time period, he didn't bother me or nothing. He just tried not to, He couldn't, I guess. He was walking slow. Like a couple of days, he didn't look good. Then, the third day, he looked a little bit better. He was kind of swollen up. I'm saying, wow, what happened? Then it seemed like the next day he looked about pretty good and he was eating and all. Then the next day he looked skinny. And then he tried to eat, he couldn't. During this period of time, I contacted the SPCA and all these people about it. I could get help, Now they're going to call you back in 24 to 48 hours. Nobody called me back. I sent emails, I did everything, In the meantime, I don't know what to do. I have no way to get him to the hospital. They're open 24 hours. And his condition, I was afraid they'd be moving him because he was like leaving fluid. It wasn't pee, it was fluid. I guess his body functions were starting to go. He couldn't, and he just stayed there, and then he got up. This was on the last day, and he was under the bed. He came out to me, and he looked at me. I thought he was under the bed. I didn't see him moving. I thought he had already passed away, but he got up, he looked at me, he couldn't jump. He tried to jump up on something, he fell down. So he went over by the door, and I was watching him. I was staying with him, much as I could, And I watched him, and I saw him starting to breathe a little bit heavy, and then his body started twitching. And then his throat, he made a growl, and then that was it. He passed, and his mouth was open. I'm so I'm sorry about this. I just had to let you know. Like, I'm doing all these songs that I do. You know, the songs that I post and all that. I do blocks of songs. I did over 2,000 songs in the last 5 months. And every morning, so be early, I'd be starting to do them. He would, he'd eat his little food, go sit on the sofa there next to me, and I would do all the songs, and he would be listening to them. He'd be sleeping a little, but all those songs that I was doing, he listened to all of them. Once in a while, he would meow. But that at that point, whatever he had, I didn't know, and it got worse until he could hardly swallow. And then when he couldn't eat, this is what happened. His body started shutting down. I don't know what, and he couldn't chew. I looked it up, and it is something that they get that I would have had if I would have got him to the vet, which I don't think he would have made it because it would have been too much of a shock for him, me trying to move him and all. So I couldn't do that. So I would have, if I would have taken him to the vet, they would have wanted to do an operation, maybe, like people have. They're going to put a hole in his chest there, and I would have to feed him that way. I guess put water too. Maybe he could take water. I don't know how I would be able to do it, but I would do anything, But I'm just doing this to let you know that if you have a pet, you never know what can happen, When I was living at the other place that I lived for a long time, there was a veterinarian right across the street. I took other cats we had, and a couple of times they couldn't do nothing. They said you send them to the SPCA, they'll do the operation or whatever they need, and and they could you get taken care of it because you can't pay it. But this time everything's different because of this pandemic. They don't come out. They say $50, at the SPCA for a donation. It's all on recordings when you call, and I looked it all up. And you have to make an appointment. Now this cat is in that condition. I got to make an appointment. It's not good. I'm just telling you, if you have a pet that you love, you never know. Try to enjoy him. And if you have a way of getting to, the veterinarian hospital. There's one here where I live, and it's open 24 hours. If there's any way you could get him, make sure. Well, I didn't take him. I couldn't. But he seemed all right until that last 5 days or so. It went pretty quick, So I wanted to bring it all up. I think he probably went to heaven. He's probably, I guess, what they call it, there's a bridge there, Rainbow Bridge in heaven. It's outside the pearly gates, and there's a meadow there and all. I hope he's playing with the other kitties. He's with my wife. Maybe they'd be waiting for me to come and join them, And that Rainbow Bridge, it goes to heaven, inside heaven. So I hope that's all the way it is. Because when my wife passed away last year, I was really upset. But I had the kitty cat, to keep me company, and it helped, Now I don't have anybody. All I have now is to do these songs and all that I've been doing, and I'll continue to do them as much as I can because it helps me forget, And I think that's about it. I might try to do one now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna try it. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to do one, and this is in honor of Mr. Lucky, aka Armando. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Let's see. I have this set up. I think so. Let me try. Should work. I don't know.
Here, kitty, here, kitty, here, little kitty, here, little kitty, here, kitty, here, kitty, here, little kitty cat. Look at the little kitty cat a-walking down the street. I bet he's got no place to go or nothing good to eat. Look at the little kitty cat with tiny tired feet. He ought to have a place to go, 'cause he's so very sweet. Here, kitty, here, kitty, here, little kitty, here, little kitty, here, kitty, here. ask my mama if she'll let me take him home, where I can hold him close to me so he won't have to roam. He ought to have a lot of milk and lots of fish and meat, instead of finding what he can in the alley or the street. Now look at the little kitty cat a-sleeping in his bed. He's got a place to rest his feet and lay his weary head. I'm gonna see that he will stay as happy as can be. And now when he goes walking, he'll go walking next to me. Oh kitty, oh kitty, oh how I love my sweet little kitty. Oh kitty, sweet little kitty cat.
Well, that's sort of like a memory of my cat. I don't have him, but I still have good memories. And I want to thank you
People share stories
for
with you all the time
listening
that
to
they
me
had
and
ukulele
all.
sitting in their closet for years and years and years, and they've never taken it out.
And I'm sorry if I did this, but I had to let it out. And I had to let everybody know, because he was a beautiful cat, and I really had good years with him. I'm really gonna miss him. Again, thanks for listening to me. Remember, if you do have a pet, love him. You never know when something could happen. And may Mr. Lucky, a.k.a. Armando, rest in peace. Thank you. Have a great day.